Hi, my name is Teresa Kovlak, and the other day I painted some little snowmen. So I thought I'd show you how to do this. This is a little snowman that I'm painting on a porcelain ornament. You can use porcelain or ceramic. You could even use plastic if you come across that. I got these online, and let's go ahead and get started here. So first thing you need to do is get your ornament, and then you need to pick out some colors that you like. So I'm going to use some Aqua, some Mermaid, and I'm going to use a little Wild Plum. These are all made by Ranger, and I'm just going to give them a little splash on. And no in particular way, just kind of splash it on. This is going to be my background color. Then I'm going to use some of the Ranger blending solution, and this will just help it stick to your ornament a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and sprinkle some of that on. And we're just going to give a little tip side to side. And this is going to be my background for my snowman. And I have rubber gloves on. I'm just taking my finger and just rubbing it over. I'm not pressing down real hard, but I do want to cover the ornament. And we're going to let that dry down a little bit. In my little bowl here, I have some 99% alcohol, and you'll need a little bit of that. I also carry it in the, I put it in the bottles, recycle my bottles from the blending solution, so those work great too. I'm going to blow this down just a little bit with just myself. I really tried to let these, when I'm painting the ornaments, I tried to let them dry on their own instead of drying them with the heat gun, just because they do dry a little different. So I'm going to make sure my brushes are good and clean, just in case I left a little ink from my last project. And all I'm doing is coming in and blotching out a little bit of that ink. And the snowman is not perfectly round, and that's fine. There's not a lot of snowmen that are perfectly round anyways. So we're going to go ahead and do a second circle. And I'm cleaning the ink off by just, sorry, I had to blow on that just a little bit so it didn't get carried away on me. I wipe off the ink each time, so I dip into the bowl, I clean it off, I take off the extra alcohol, then I come in and put the other piece on that I need. So that'll be his head, and we can make his middle circle a little bit bigger. When you're doing this, just make sure that your circles don't run away on you and come down into the other one. And make his head just a little bit bigger too. That looks pretty good. So we can pick what color we want to do. And I think we'll go ahead and put a black hat on him. Kind of make him look like Frosty. Now I do always keep my black separate. This is a little glass container. It's actually a vintage piece. And I bring the black over on him. Dip in. I tapped a little bit of the alcohol off. Grab it onto the ink. And bring his hat in. That way he has a nice little top hat. And I am actually going to trade brushes. I got one that's a little bit thinner. So we'll go ahead and finish up his hat with this one. There we go. And he should have some branches. Because Frosty needs some arms. And I'm just using the pitch black for that. You can use brown. And sometimes I'll actually overlap. So I got my little tray here. These are the ones that I take on the road with me. And I'll just come in here and grab a little bit of that brown. And this tray actually has brown and yellow. Has more than one color in it, and it's fine. It works for me. So his arm is a little bit over the edge, and that's okay. We'll just leave him like that. And come in and put the other arm in. I am going to turn them because it's just a little easier for me to work. And his little hand. And I'm going to add a little more of that black. And we'll make this one a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker as it's going into our Frosty. And you can make his branches longer if you want to. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some snow along the bottom. And all I'm doing is taking a little bit of that ink out. So I rub it down on my paper towel so I don't have too much alcohol. And just kind of wipe out some of that and turn it into snow. And you can do it all the way to the bottom, or you can just leave the bottom. When I paint my ornaments, I usually only paint on one side. It's totally up to you, but I figure one side is great. And we'll come in with a little bit of green. Up here, we're going to put just a little bit of a branch or a twig. I don't know, what does he usually have? Holly? We'll put a little holly up here. So I'm trying to rub a little bit of that alcohol or a little bit of that paint out. And then I'll come back in and put a little bit of that green back in. And then we're going to come over here, pick up some green, and give them a little bit of holly. So we get the green. And then we want to put a couple little berries on there. Whoops. We'll go ahead and pick up a little bit of watermelon. And I will have the colors listed below that I use. All right. And you know what? We could give him a red scarf instead of a black scarf. We could give him a red one. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of that watermelon. And just kind of figure out where you want your scarf. And I like to make my scarf nice and big. And then we want our tails of our scarf coming down. Now, if you want to make it like it's super windy, you can make his scarf flying away. But we'll just kind of put his down, laying down a little bit. I'm gonna make this right here where the scarf kind of hooks together. Just kind of wanted a little bit different shape there. And now we're going to take and I actually have a paintbrush. I trimmed the ends off a tiny bit. It just gives me a little bit more control when I'm using it. So I'm picking up a little bit of this black, and that's the Pitch Black by Ranger. The majority of the inks that I do use are made by Ranger. I've been painting with them for 3 years now. So if you haven't tried them, maybe give them a try. I'm going to go ahead and put his little smile. He's got to have some little coal for his smile. There we go. And of course our snowman needs a nose. So we're going to put a carrot on him. And we'll grab some of this orange. Now, sometimes the carrot can be kind of tricky. I flip them over upside down. Again, it's just a little easier for me to do. If you want, do your carrot first and then bring in your eyes and your nose. Just because if your carrot gets too carried away with you, you can erase it and then put them back on. There we go. Let's see. Oh, he looks like a pretty good Frosty to me. So let's go ahead and put some snow on our Frosty. Ooh, had a little bit of black on there, so always make sure your brush is clean. And all I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of the alcohol. Make sure my brush is good and clean. So I wiped off the alcohol, and then I'm coming in and just taking out a little bit of that color. And put some snow on our Frosty. So you can put as much as you want, or you don't have to do it at all, but I like the snow on them. I just kind of put it here and there, just like it piled up on him. And sometimes I gotta go over the same area more than once, just because I don't want it to, I don't like that spot. And I add that red back in. So I kind of go over the same area, that red back in. So I kind of go over the same area more than once, just because I don't want to pull it all out at once, but I didn't like how that snow pulled out there. I didn't like the look of it. So no big deal, we'll just put back in that red. And we'll take out a little bit of more snow on him. Let's see, put a little bit of snow dangling off his hat there. And maybe we'll do the top part too. And then we could add a cardinal real quick. So I'm going to come over and grab some more of that watermelon. It's the same color we used for the scarf. And I'm just pulling my brush together. I want to make sure my bristles are nice and tight when I put him in. So I'm going to do one down here. I'm just kind of bringing them in bird shape. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Grab my smaller brush. I'm going to add just a little bit more feathers to him. Want a good amount of ink on, but then I'm going to wipe a little bit off. That way I know it's on my brush. And not too much liquid. Just because the alcohol inks will run. So you want to be careful when you're painting. And we'll go ahead and do a little bird, little cardinal up here. Maybe we'll put him like he's sitting at the edge. And he doesn't have to be real big, he can be a small one. I'm going to grab a little bit of that orange to put up by his beak. And I just want to make sure that it's dry enough to touch. I'm just adding that little bit of color in there. Maybe make him a little bit bigger. And say you painted your cardinal here and you don't like him. Well, I don't really like my cardinal up there. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with him. Let me just grab a Q-tip. Alright, so I'm going to pull the end off of my Q-tip right here at the end. And dip it into my alcohol. And I'm going to give it a good little squeeze. Of course, I had ink on my glove, so it turned it red. So let's do the other side. And pull that end off. Dip it into your alcohol. And because I don't like this cardinal, I'm going to turn it into a snowball. Why can't a snowman be holding a snowball? So I'm just wiping that out. Again, you don't want to have too much alcohol on your brush or on your Q-tip because it will get away from you. So I just rub it on my paper towel. And there we go. Now he's holding a snowball. And I can even come in here, grab a little bit of that blue. And just put a little bit of blue on there. I like that much better. Okay, so our little cardinal down at the bottom, we're going to add a little beak on him. My brushes are not being very cooperative today. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that ink out right there. And then I'm going to put a little reflection into the snow. So a little bit of that blue. And then I'm going to also come in with a little bit of black. Just to make it a little bit like there's a shadow there. There we go. And then on your snowman, you can do all kinds of things. You can have him holding a broom or whatever you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and put on his little scarf here, some little fringe. And then you can even put more snow on him. However you want to make it, it's your snowman. So I hope this video was helpful to you. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That's all I need to know that you enjoy seeing me do the videos, and maybe I can teach you something, show you a new way how to do something. Otherwise, you can see more of my artwork on Facebook and Instagram. And those are both under my name, Teresa Kovlak. I like them. What do you think? If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the section down below, and I'll get to them as I can. So there we go. I'll show you the other ones. Move everything out of the way. And we'll go ahead and put a paper towel on there so it's not quite so messy. So here's some of our other snowmen, the ones that I was showing you earlier. And here's our one that we painted today. Again, I hope this video was helpful to you, and you have a great rest of your day. Happy painting!